like to call this meeting of the Westland City Council to order, please. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, tonight led by Avery Kolb, Austin Parcha, and Kevin Williams, Jr.
All right, kids, we didn't have a chance for a dress rehearsal today because our study session ran a little late. So if I can get Avery and Kevin and Austin, Austin, thank you. Could you guys come on up here with me? Like normally we get this all worked out beforehand. It didn't happen that much today. So come on right here. We're going to have you step on that line. It's just like the military. They tell you to stand in the line and stay still. We're going to have you stand right next to him. And we're going to have you put the flag. Okay, so what I want you to do is put your right hand over your heart real quick like this. And then say, I pledge allegiance, and then we'll pick it up from there, okay? All right, so when you're ready. Say it. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So how was that without any practice? They did pretty good. I'm going to have you guys stand this way now and look at everybody because everybody wants to see how awesome you guys are. All right, so Avery, that's you, right? Yes, okay. So we have our kids are from Edison Elementary today, so they come to lead us in the pledge, and again, they did a great job with no practice, and they threw me under the bus too, so that's kind of fun. But from Avery, she says, hello, my name is Avery. I am 7 years old, and I'm in second grade in Mrs. Dennis's class at Edison. I have an older sister named Sophia and an older brother named Owen. I have 2 pets. My dog is named Olive. She loves ice cream. My cat is named Tinkerbell. She loves hitting Olive. When I grow up, I'm going to be a veterinarian because I love animals. She also loves writing in school, and she wants to thank her family for coming with her tonight. So Avery, I'm going to have you hold this just like that. You're going to hold that really proud. And Kevin, I'm going to have you change spots with Avery real quick. So you guys change spots, and I'm going to find your bio real quick. So here we are. We have Kevin. He says, hi, my name is Kevin Williams, Jr. I am 7 years old, and I am in the I'm in the second grade at Edison Elementary, also in Miss Dennis's class. She must put out some really bright kids. When I'm not in school, I like to go to karate and watch YouTube. So you're a karate man, huh? You bruise on the inside so people don't see your weakness? I like it. Any old movie fans in here? I have 2 pet fish at home. When I grow up, I want to be a karate teacher. I want to thank Mom and Dad and Big for coming with me tonight. Let's hear it for Kevin. Hold it really proud like that so everybody can see it. Okay. So Mom and Dad, principal, parents, friends, family, everyone, you guys come up here real quick. I'm going to put you on the spot, too. Oh, you thought you were getting away with it, huh? All right, stand with your students so I know who to grill about what. So we always love when Edison comes out. I live in the Tonquish neighborhood, too, where Edison's at. All my kids went through Edison. It's been a fantastic school. We love it there. And as you can see, they put out some fantastic kids. So, Kevin, tell me a little bit about what Kevin hasn't told us. Tell us a little something extra.
Kevin is very talkative. He loves to talk movies, especially Marvel. We play sports, and like I said, karate is his favorite thing.
Karate, so you got your, what are you, white belt, green belt, yellow belt, triple black belt? Oh, wow, red belt. That's serious stuff, guys. He's a red belt. I ain't messing with you. So that's good. They teach you a lot of discipline there in karate? Good. Well, it probably shows in your schoolwork, and that's why he's up here today. So I'm going to walk around now and talk to Avery. All right, who wants to talk about Avery? You're standing up front. I'll get you. You got to give us something. Everybody's waiting.
Avery is wonderful. She has a terrific sense of humor, and she's very funny, quite entertaining all the time.
Well, we're pleased to have them both here, so we're going to go ahead and do a photo. Where's the principal at, real quick? The principal come? Okay, very good. So We'll go ahead and get some pictures real quick of WLND, and if you guys want to get some photos too, we'll get those done right now. So big smiles, guys. All right, you guys did a great job. Give them a round of applause.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green. Present. Councilman Hammonds. Here. Councilman Hart. Here. Councilman Hersberg. Here. Councilman Johnson. Here. Councilman Londo. Here. President Godbout.
Present.
A quorum is present.
We'll begin with announcements and presentations. First up, Peter Fromm.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council and the City of Westland. Pete Fromm with Great Lakes Water Authority. I'm a management professional for water operations. Great Lakes Water Authority is preparing to start the construction of a 24-inch water transmission main project, which is our third and final stage of the project. The project will be between Vinoy and Merriman Road, with the majority of the project located inside the Vinoy-Dorsey Park of Wayne County. The transmission main will tie into GLWA's pump station located at Merriman Road and Michigan Avenue. The project will provide the following: redundancy to GLWA's water transmission main system. It will eliminate a dead end into GLWA's transmission main system. It will replace deduct to direct meters for the City of Westland. It will also replace roads and restoration inside Vinoy-Dorsey Park that is impacted by the construction. GLWA and the engineering department with the City of Westland has been meeting and coordinating this project for the past year. This project will be a two-year project. The contractor is Salbean Trucking and Excavating. Currently, the project has started with mobbing to the construction site, and our completion date should be December of 2020. I appreciate your time this evening. Is there any questions?
Question? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll have our community policing officers.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, guests. As you all are aware, we had a basketball game with the ARC Special Olympics August 31st, and needless to say, it was pretty exciting. We played a great basketball team, and with that being said, Hank, can we have you come up here, and can we have the basketball team stand up? So this team really, they are fantastic. They gave us a run for the money, and they actually ended up winning, no doubt in that. And here they are. This has been in the works for a long time. We were approached by Hank probably how long ago?
About 9 months.
About 9 months ago, and what he wanted was to see if we could do some sort of fundraiser for them. So we worked it out. We worked out everything with the City of Westland, and we got it done. And Hank, if you want, you can say a few things about it. We want today to present a check to this team, so.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you very much, and Chief Jeffrey and Mayor, you should be very proud of your Westland Police Department. The afternoon that they spent with these guys was really exciting. You guys really enjoyed that basketball game?
Yeah.
And it was a hard-fought game. You guys did really well. But let me tell you a little bit about these guys. 2 months ago, they entered into the Detroit Pistons 5-on-5 tournament. We entered three teams. 1, 2, and 3, and we came in first, we came in second, and we came in third. The reason why we are aggressively trying to raise money is that there is an organization, it's an international organization, and it is called Athletes Without Limits. And this organization is trying for the first time to get an American team in the Olympic Paralympics. So we are raising money to send some of these guys to Australia. So we feel Detroit, the greater Detroit community needs to be represented in this international athletic event, and we are really proud of our guys, and we're really blessed to have a great police force. So we thank you, and we're very appreciative, and can you guys say thanks to the police? Thank you.
Wow.
Come on, guys. Yeah.
Hold that up, guys. Hold that up. Yeah. That's right.
That's right. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Number one.
Number one.
Wow.
Thanks, everybody.
I'll ask.
Yeah, I do know, but I didn't. Coaches. Or, you know, it might be a representative of Wayne County Health, if not him.
Dr. Tom Coaches, is he here this evening? Okay. Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you. It's tough to follow that. I just wanted to give everyone an update. At the August 22nd full commission meeting, we approved another justice grant, justice assistance grant from Department of Justice in D.C. And we're sort of a pass-through organization. This one was for $19,333.14. The excited outside. One of our committees approved, and the full board will be approving it this Thursday, the $42,432 for the Madonna Ice Arena project. Mayor, you and I talked about it the other day. That will be used for the renovation of the restrooms, as I understand. And as I said, the full approval by the full commission will be this Thursday. I wanted to let everyone know the next coffee hour will be October 14th at 9 a.m. at the Westland Library. And lastly, is anyone who's driven Canton or anywhere west on Warren Road, they've probably noticed that the county DPS has completed a very rough stretch of Warren Road between Hicks and the railroad crossing. I've been pressing for it for the last couple of years, and I'm pleased it's finally done. I know anyone that travels that certainly is happy to see it. It is very smooth now. Anyway, if you have any questions, if not, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Kyle?
Hello, Council, Mayor, guests. Kyle Mulligan, Parks and Recreation Department. I just wanted to give a quick announcement to everybody and let everybody know the survey for our Parks and Recreation Master Plan is currently live. You can access the survey by going to the website surveymonkey.com/r/Westland Parks Recreation, or you can just go to our city homepage and click the Parks and Recreation survey. Again, that's surveymonkey.com/r/Westland Parks Recreation, or just go to the website, cityofwestland.com. There are hard copies available as well. There are some here at City Hall, as well as the Friendship Center, Library, Jefferson Barnes, the Ice Arena, and Golf Course. So please make sure to fill them out. We're looking for any suggestions, and then you can return those to that location that you picked up the survey from. We're looking for as much input as possible from residents with ideas on park improvements and programming, all of which are welcomed. The survey does close October 4th, so please make sure to let us know what we can do to help continuing to improve the City of Westland parks. Is there any questions? Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Lisa?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for having me this evening. There's a couple of grants I want to announce that the city has been awarded. We've received pretty significant awards over the past month. FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Assistance to Firefighters Grant. As you'll recall in my reports I sent to you, we applied for several. And one of them we did end up receiving. The announcements are not over, so that does not mean that this is the end of the announcements. This is just the award over each month for the next couple of months. So bear with me as I read through this a little bit, because I want you to understand the importance and significance of this grant. And with the competitive nature in Washington, D.C., we were able to write a pretty significant award and assist the fire department. FEMA awarded the city $221,948. The total amount is $244,142. The city does have a $22,194 match for this, but I think that's a pretty good bargain when you're getting $221,000 out of the deal. The award is to install new firehouse alerting systems in the Westland Fire Department's 4 stations. The system will reduce the following. It'll increase the safety and security of the fire stations. It'll deliver real-time data and decrease the turnout and response times by as much as 2 minutes, which is pretty incredible. Specifically by adding this, what we call an instantaneous alert, station alert, when the call comes into 911, the in-house lighting and voice prompts will calmly alert members to either a fire or an EMS run, so it'll cover both. And I was glad that the chief shared this with me, because we were looking for something very significant so that this is not, so you understand the importance. Studies have shown that fire departments can reduce stress on firefighters by signaling emergencies with ramp-up alert tones, which are alarms that gradually rise in intensity instead of an all-of-a-sudden full-blown alarm. So this is actually a technology that's just not doing alerts, but it actually is for the health and safety of the firefighters as well. In addition to the benefits of this system, there's a security component as well. So basically, the fire and smoke alarm detection system with key card access that comes with it and the fire station alerting system will have a great impact on the fire department daily operations. They'll be used daily with the fire. Basically, the firefighters will know that the station is protected when they are in the corridors or responding to a run. So it covers a number of areas. Are there any questions on that grant? Okay. Second one is the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Agency. This is the total project cost is $95,000. MMRMA awarded 25%, or approximately $23,750. And this grant is for the purchase of a power load system. And you'll understand as I explain what a power load system is. The Westland Fire Department is seeking to implement the use of what is called a striker power load powered fastener system into each of the department's 4 transporting rescue vehicles. The Westland firefighters train on the use of the stretchers and have contact with patients requiring the use of the stretcher several times daily at each of the 4 stations. The repetition utilized of loading and unloading cots in and out of service involves an inherent risk to both the patient and the rescue, as you can imagine. So this is important because the use of this power load fastener system will minimize any of those risks moving forward. Additionally, the striker power load powered fastener system provides for a 100% reduction in missed safety hooks while loading and unloading the cot. The system minimizes patient drops by supporting the cot until its wheels are safely on the ground. So obviously these both have a small match request. Grants are moving into the match area. They have been for some time. And the reason behind that is because there's a lot of unspent money that's sent back to Washington DC, and they want to make sure that you budget it and you're serious about spending this money and the reconciliation. So we'll be working as we have with any reconciliation of this grant. We'll also continue to track grants as well. And as Chief Jadrusik knows, we just worked on some of the J grants as well with his department. We put in a lot of time and effort into those, so we're hoping that we'll be able to announce a few of those as well in the upcoming months. Thank you for your time. If there's any questions.
Councilman Londo.
Thanks, President Gabel. First of all, thank you for coming out tonight and reporting. I was trying to jot these numbers down to get the total amount.
Sure.
I don't know if you have a total for us. And then after that, I had a question about any update on the SAFER grant that we applied for.
Sure. So the total FEMA, well, without the match or with the match, Councilman? Okay, without the match, FEMA has awarded the city $221,948. And MMRMA has awarded approximately $23,750. As far as the SAFER goes, we expect we'll hear something very soon. It's usually a September-October timeframe for that. And after the AFG has been moving, and this one actually, I don't know if you'll recall, we applied for this last year, so it took a year for us to get that. Although I think that they're going to be really aggressively trying to award SAFER as soon as possible. I do know that that is a very important grant for the fire department with regards to staffing. So we have been pushing on our legislators, as we have with letters and everything else. We're very aggressive on that front. The group that sends in the most letters and gets their legislators to support it gets moved to the top, and that is a reality. So we'll continue to push for that. I do know that our members do understand the importance, which is our our U.S. senators and our congresswoman, but we will not turn down the heat whatsoever.
Thank you very much. Just a quick follow-up to that. I know
Certainly.
we applied for 13 firefighters. If you said it's a very competitive grant, is there a chance to get maybe half of that if they don't apply to 13, or is it 13 or bust?
I'm pretty confident they'll get 13. In the past, we've not lost any firefighters in our request. We've received all funded positions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank
Thanks,
you for your
Lisa.
time this evening.
Thank you.
We'll move on to citizens' questions or input on the agenda. Citizens will be recognized before the business of the meeting commences to address the council pertaining to items that are specifically on the business agenda. Citizens are asked to limit their questions or input to 3 minutes. Is there anyone on my left? Yes.
Council members, Mayor Wild, my name's William Zimba, and I'm the chairman of the Tax Increment Finance Authority, better known as TIFA. At the last council meeting, the council requested some information on the makeup of the board, and I'm here tonight hopefully to answer those questions. Number one is, I have been a member for 12 years. I retired from Ford Motor Company. I was a supervisor for energy management for powertrain operations. Mr. Scott Catello is the vice chair, and he has served 7 years. Mr. Catello is a architect and design engineer for Nord Associates and Engineers, and they are licensed in all 50 states. Mr. James Allen has served for 8 years. He is a relations manager and assistant vice president for Fifth Third Bank. Mr. Mark Deal has served for 15 years, and he is a civil engineer with background experience in construction management. Mr. Matt Miller, has served 4 years. He's in the fitness industry, and he has knowledge of multifamily housing and market analysis. Mrs. Nancy Leonard has been a member for 2 years. She's a small business owner in the Tifa district. She owns Salon 210 in the Westland Mall, and she is a licensed real estate agent. Miss Leslie Fleming was newly appointed by the council in May of this year, and she's the Director of Marketing and Business Development for Garden City Hospital. Mr. Gary Thomas has served 1 year, and he is a General Manager for the Westland Mall. Some of the projects that the TIFA board has financed, the number one is this building right here, the new Westland City Hall. Also, Fire Station number 1, the beautification of Central City Parkway, landscaping and update of irrigation system. We have partnered with the DDA for the sign management throughout the city, which is directional signage. And also at Christmas time, when the lighting outside of this building is transformed the building like the Ice Palace from the movie Frozen, that is financed by the Tifa Board. Now, besides myself tonight, Mr. Allen is here, Mrs. Leonard is here, and Mr. Thomas is here. So hopefully I've answered all of your questions regarding the makeup of the board. And if you have any questions, please feel free to address myself or members of the board.
Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for coming in tonight. The mayor did, or whomever prepared our council pack, and we were able, I believe it was the deputy mayor, we were all provided with a copy of your resumes as requested at the last meeting. So I appreciate you coming tonight, and
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Anyone else? Thanks, Bill. Anyone on my right? Mrs. McKinney?
On new business, item 7, approval of special land use for proposed adult day education program. Can you have them explain what this is? And I was told by someone that they were told that they were going to get people from group homes. So if these are adult education, what kind of education is it? Is it people with dementia or Alzheimer's? Because they get scared when they're moved around. So if you could explain it, exactly what they're going to do, I think it may make a difference. Thank you.
Anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? We'll close citizens' comments on the agenda and move on to the consent calendar. Motion by Councilman Landau, supported by Councilman Hart. Is there any questions from the council? Any discussion? Councilman Landau?
Thanks. I just want to, through the chair to the police chief, I just want to thank you for item B and item C, and also the traffic bureau for getting this traffic light removed from Ann Arbor Trail and Berwick Drive. Councilman Hart and I think you believe, emailed you about a year ago from a resident stating they didn't believe that that light was needed there anymore with the school being replaced with the single-family homes. I just want to thank you for that.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes, I just had a question on item K, the approval of the 48-month lease for the laptop replacement of 174 workstations and laptops citywide for $170,000. Through the chair to whomever can take this question. My question is relative to the cost of $170,000 and the need to replace them at this time and at that particular cost. The description that we had on the following page 65 of our 266-page council packet stated that the reason for replacement is because Microsoft is going to stop supporting Windows 7 and only support Windows 10. So my question is, if we're going to replace 174 computers citywide, which it does not look like this has went out to bid, after researching this item, Microsoft stated that the information that I received is that the transition from 7 to 10, it will not be finalized until January of 2020. And even after that point, Windows 7 will still be operational. You just won't be able to call for support. So with there being several months left with the system being functional and this not having went out to bid, and with the amount of computers that we're looking to replace, I wanted to know if there was any reason why we didn't send it out to bid, and had we looked into leasing as an option, If the reason for this complete replacement is due to a software or hardware change, we could be looking at this exact same thing within 2 or 3 or 4 years when Microsoft decides to go in a different direction. So if we were to lease computers as an option, and I'm not proposing that that is the best solution, I'm saying it's not even an option. I would like to look at the cost difference or possibly saving if we were to lease these options from, or items from maybe a Dell or an HP, which would then not only allow the city to get support on those computers from those manufacturers, and also it would also allow the city to continually upgrade the equipment as other software and hardware programs are phased out. Or we could be looking essentially at replacing another 174 computers at almost $75,000 in a couple years. So I'd like an explanation for this and to find out if there's any way that we could possibly send this out to bid and also present council with a comparison in terms of what the potential savings might be if we lease these computers through HP or Dell. If anybody can answer that question.
Mayor?
Through the chair. Well, first of all, our IT director, Mr. Brown's not here tonight. I'll remind council that this was a budgeted item. This was, Mr. Brown did explain this during the budget process as one of his capital needs for the upcoming year, so it was discussed in length. He's not here with us tonight. I don't know that it's fair that his staff answers that was a pretty comprehensive question. Typically, we prefer that the council members, if they're going to ask a question like that, they reach out to the department head to give them a heads up that I'm going to be asking you this question tonight so they can come in prepared. If council would like to, if they don't feel comfortable, it is on the consent calendar. If they don't feel comfortable with it, I'd actually prefer that you pull it off the consent calendar and then add it to the next agenda. We'll make sure that the IT director is here. Although I know his staff probably wants to take a bite at this, but I do think that with the depth of that question, that the IT director probably should have been given the heads up so he could be here tonight to answer it.
Just, Mr. Fasson.
Just for further clarification to the council, as indicated in the cover letter from Craig Brown, this is being, did not go through the city bidding process because you're purchasing off the sole manufacturer of the equipment on a government purchasing contract. As you know, the city often utilizes state or federal or other bidding processes so that it gets the best price and doesn't have to go through that process itself. So this was bid out. I don't want to leave the impression that there wasn't a bid arrangement for this, which I think equates to $997 a unit. So it was part of the Michigan Master Computing Michigan Deal purchasing contract.
I would just like to also note that this is a lease agreement with a $1 buyout at the end of the lease. So this is a lease, not purchase, with a $1 buyout at the end of the lease. Councilwoman Green.
Thank you. Through the chair to the mayor, I appreciate your feedback, but I am actually not the only council person who does not recall that discussion at length. And unfortunately, I did not have an opportunity to reach out to Mr. Brown as I did with several other department heads with questions that I had. So in terms of it being a lease, the issue is, and I appreciate that, Council President, the issue is the cost of the lease. At $170,000+, have we looked at possibly being able to get a better offer from a Dell or from a HP or from another provider that would offer support at far less of an expense? And also, just to speak to the city attorney's statement in terms of the estimated cost being $997 per computer, you might as well round that up to $1,000. you could probably get 2 brand-new workstation desktop computers for $1,000. So if we're going to propose purchasing 174 new computers solely based on a software change, if we investigated leasing these from providers who offer that software, we not only may be able to get these items cheaper, but we also may be eligible to continuously get new equipment as the software programs change in the future. So with that being the case, I would make a motion to have this taken off of the agenda and re-presented with council with the appropriate due diligence from the IT department in terms of cost comparisons for other providers who can offer these services to ensure that this is not only necessary, but that we are getting the best buy for the amount of taxpayer dollars that we'll be using for this expense. Thank you.
Support the motion.
Councilman Johnson?
I think that goes along with what the mayor just suggested. I think Greg should have an opportunity to come here. I do recall this conversation, not at great length during the budget study sessions, but I will too support that because the mayor has suggested he would like Greg to be here to respond to it. Thank you.
There's a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Green, supported by Councilman Hersberg, to remove this item for the next agenda. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. Back to the main motion for the balance of the consent calendar. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Approval of minutes of regular meeting held September 3, 2019. Traffic Control Order 2019-09, remove traffic control light at Ann Arbor Trail and Berwick Drive. Traffic Control Order 2019-10, install 1 stop sign on Berwick Drive south of Ann Arbor Trail for northbound Berwick traffic, and install 1 stop sign on Berwick Drive north of Ann Arbor Trail for southbound Berwick traffic. Request from Friends of John Glenn Music to be recognized as a local nonprofit organization operating in the city of Westland in order to obtain a charitable gaming license from the state of Michigan. Approval of bid for outfitting of 3 police vehicles. Administration recommended the low bidder, ABS Storage Products Incorporated, total amount not to exceed $17,316. Approval of purchase of 1 outfitted Freightliner single axle chassis with a 10-foot dump box for the Department of Public Service, total amount not to exceed $145,326. Approval of purchase of wireless kits for motor unit helmets for the police department, total amount not to exceed $6,384.87. Approval of motorcycle lease buyout with Town and Country Sports for the 3 police motorcycles currently being leased for the police department, total amount not to exceed $36,552. Approval of extension of services with IDS.com for printing and mailing services for the Department of Finance. Contract is for a 1-year period with a 1-year extension option, amount to remain at $36,000. Approval of professional services agreement with 98.6 Telemedicine Services to provide the city with a software platform service that offers a unique cost, quality, accessibility combination that enables a new approach to delivering on-demand primary medical care to the city of Westland and its employees. Amount $6,000 per year, and this approval is contingent upon the approval of agreement language by the city attorney. Last item approved on the consent calendar, adoption of resolution accepting Westland Family Dollar at 27454 Van Born Road, long-term maintenance of stormwater management system and corresponding maintenance agreement executed by the developer. Moving to unfinished business, item 1. Adoption of prepared resolution to designate members of the Tax Increment Finance Authority as the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilman Hart. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business, item 2, approval of minutes of study session held September 9, 2019.
Motion by Councilman Landau. Is there support? Support by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Green. Yes. Councilman Hammonds. Yes. Councilman Hart. Yes. Councilman Hersberg. Councilman Johnson. Yes. Councilman Londo.
Yes.
President Godbout.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business item 3, set public hearing for PA 198 tax abatement request submitted by U.S. Ferrethane LLC located at 39200 Ford Road. The suggested public hearing is to be held today, September 16, 2019. At the present time, an industrial development district has already been established.
Motion by Councilman Hersberg. Is there support? Support by Councilman Hart. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
Public hearing.
The next item on the agenda is the public hearing on the U.S. Ferrethane tax abatement. This is a public hearing, and anyone in the audience can speak for up to 3 minutes on the item. Is there anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? Motion to close public hearings by Councilman Hersberg, supported by Councilman Landau. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Councilwoman Green?
Yes, thank you. One of the items that I did get a chance to send to the mayor prior to tonight's meeting was feedback on the type of employment requirements that the city of Detroit and Wayne County requires when they offer what in many instances is large tax abatements, sometimes in the sum of multi-millions of dollars of taxpayers' money to help grow business and invite businesses to either bring their companies to Westland or expand, which U.S. Ferrethane is currently looking to do by the sum of 89 new jobs at their location. I did not hear back in terms of what the decision was for the city of Westland, and I apologize, I did not see a requirement in the documentation in the city council packet, but as specified in the email that I sent, when the city of Detroit and Wayne County offers large tax abatements to increase or to bring jobs to their location, they require that at least 51% of those jobs go to their residents because the tax money belongs to the residents. So if the city or the mayor could confirm of the 89 jobs that are coming to the city of Westland, and with the tax abatement that city council is being asked to approve, which I'm in support of due to the amount of jobs that will be coming to the city. However, as I stated before, my primary concern and focus is to ensure that Westland residents reap the reward from this incentive. Is there a mandate of any sort on the 89 jobs as it relates to how many must go to Westland citizens?
Mayor, I'll let you respond, although the proper place for this discussion would have been the next agenda item, not on the public hearing. But go ahead, Mayor.
Okay. I'll try to answer Councilwoman Green's question, and then, of course, our Economic Development Director, Ms. Berman, can weigh in as well if needed. The one thing that, Ms. Green, I would probably say is that not all tax abatements are the same, and some of the tax abatements that you may be referring to in the city of Detroit are probably not the type of tax abatement that we're talking about here tonight. Some of the big tax abatements in Detroit that have garnered a lot of public attention and some criticism of late because some of the promises weren't kept were properties that the city put land in, the land bank put land in, public dollars were put into it. So it's not exactly what we're doing here tonight. This is a Public Act 198 tax abatement, which will be a 50% tax abatement on their improvements. So there's no public money coming out of general fund at this point to pre-fund this project or anything. It'll be a tax abatement moving forward. That's 50% of the improvement, which is spelled out in the document here tonight. So I agree that there has been some tax abatements in the city of Detroit. Most recently, the Little Caesars Arena has garnered a lot of criticism for some of the things that haven't happened yet. But what we're asking here tonight is no means the same type of tax abatement that we've seen there.
Ms. Brum?
Sorry, through the chair, I would just also like to add, in a community the size of Westland, it is a little bit more difficult to have a strict mandate in terms of percentage of hiring and employment. It's also difficult to enforce. So if they hire 89 of those jobs are 50% are Westland residents, how long does that have to stay the case for? Is it over the course of the abatement, or, it's kind of a difficult thing to really define what that requirement is. And if the applicants aren't there, then, you get into the situation where now, you're determining whether you're clawing back this abatement based on, no fault of the company to comply. We did add into this agreement, which is not standard language, based on the comments from the study session, that the company will make good faith efforts to offer employment to Westland residents. And part of that includes U.S. Fairdane's going to be holding a job fair here on September 25th. And we're going to be helping them to get the word out about that and, try to make sure that we do everything we can to ensure that Westland residents have an opportunity to apply for and are matched up with these positions.
Thank you. Mr. Fasson.
I'd like to also point out to the council that your economic development director had written into the tax abatement agreement, which is in your package, along with this good faith effort requirement, a provision that the company agrees to submit annual written reports to the economic development director on the status of employment, and part of that information that will be provided will be the number of city residents employed by the company. Again, not a standard feature in these agreements.
Thanks. Is there any discussion on closing the public hearing?
My light is on.
No, it is not, but go ahead.
Would you like to take a look at it?
Go ahead.
It is on. It's always on when I have to remind you that I'd like to speak.
Councilwoman Green, go ahead. This is on the closing of a public hearing.
If you refuse to turn my microphone on and I have to show you a light bulb, then I'm going to clarify it for you because I asked you to just leave my microphone on and you refused to do it. So as I stated, my light has been on. Thank you. I wanted to thank the mayor and the economic development director for weighing in. One of the differences as it relates to Wayne County, which is we live in Wayne County, and also Detroit, when they give these multi-million-dollar abatements, and the information we received at the study session is this is going to be an abatement savings over, I think, the life of the 10 or 12 years that will exceed $1 million. It was 1 point something over the however long it was. When they offer abatements, they put a, not only do they outline the requirement that X amount of jobs must go to their residents, and it's not just Detroit and it's not just Wayne County, it's actually something that's pretty prevalent all over. It was just one of the things that I thought Westland should consider since this is our taxpayers' dollars. But not only do they mandate the amount of jobs, but they also include a penalty or a fine that is outlined in the event that these jobs that the requirement is not met. Now, when we had the study session, the owner stated that the majority of these jobs are going to be for labor, which is in the factory portion of his business. It is not those that may not require a higher degree or level of education. Now, if this were a hospital or something along those lines to where we need to bring in the best of the best, I would agree that that is may not be the appropriate or the best avenue to take. However, when the majority of these 89 jobs are going to be filled by labor or general labor, and these tax dollars are coming from Westland's taxpayers, I think that we should do more than just hold a job fair. And also, the owner stated that he would be willing to mandate and work with the appropriate people to ensure that we employ Westland. So I'd like to see us do more than just hold a job fair or get a annual report, because it's our money, and our residents may not see the lion's share of the return. So that is my opinion, and I would like to again thank you, as Fairthane, for expanding your business here and being flexible in that regard. I believe that our residents should be the priority when their taxpayers are being used to assist in this venture. So once again, thank you very much.
Is there any dissent on the motion to close the public hearing? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business item 5, adoption of prepared resolution granting the application from U.S. Fairthane LLC for an industrial facilities exemption certificate.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilman Hart. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business item 6, approval of agreement between the City of Westland and U.S. Fairthane LLC regarding Public Act 198 Industrial Facilities Exemption Certificate, and, if approved, authorizes the mayor and city clerk to execute on behalf of the city.
Motion by Councilman Landau, supported by Councilman Hart. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business item 7, approval of special land use for proposed adult day education program, 38409 Joy Road. This is Planning Department number 2182B.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Hammonds. Is there support? Support by Councilman Landau. Mo?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, City Council. The subject property here is located at the southwest corner of Joy and Hicks. It's outlined in yellow on your screen, right at the border of Westland and Livonia. The property comprises of about a little over an acre and is zoned CB3, our general commercial business district. The site is developed with the what is called Joy Hicks Shopping Plaza, a small commercial center containing about 13,000 square feet of retail space. And today the petitioner is proposing to locate in one of the vacant suites an adult day education program serving disabled seniors. And I believe, if I understood them correctly at the Planning Commission meeting, that they draw from daycare facilities, adult daycare facilities in the area, and maybe they can clarify that in a bit. The previously approved site plan for this site indicated the existing parking that is sufficient for the plaza and complies with the parking requirements of the zoning ordinance. Site access is off of Joy Road and also a curb cut here off of Hicks Road. There is screening in place to buffer the existing residential here. Masonry wall located along the south property line right there. The hours of operation for the proposed use are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The adult day education program is consistent with the existing uses and the zoning designation within the general area, and no negative impacts are anticipated on the surrounding properties. Both the Planning Commission that held a public hearing and the administration are recommending approval of this proposed special land use. Thank you.
Thanks, Mo. Is the petitioner present?
So, I'm sorry. Just some quick information. The applicant's English is really good, but if I need to translate or anything, I'm happy to do that, to help do that. But if you can go up there and just introduce yourself really quickly, please.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
Good evening, sirs.
I'm James Noyabuchi.
Okay.
I'm Cecilia Onyebuchi.
Okay. The question came up from one of the residents in regards to the clientele and where your students would be coming from for this.
From group homes in the area.
Okay.
They were transported to the site for their program and then taken back home at 5 p.m. every day, daily, Monday through Friday.
Okay. Is there any questions from the council? Councilman Hersberg.
Thank you. I would advise council to use caution on, another one of these special land uses. Some of the information in the packet was not correct. It showed part of what is currently Mangia Pizza and Catering next door as their banquet room. So I would like to see this tabled, that we can just make sure that none of the other documents, that nothing was filled out incorrectly. Excuse me. Yeah, in the council packet, there was a synopsis of the planning development history that was all incorrect. This is actually going into the former pharmacy that just closed. I do have a couple concerns, though, going forward if this is approved, that there's no outdoor space for anybody coming that would be staying there. And there's ADA ramps on each side of this is a really long building that you can see. So I would guess it's about 60 feet away would be the nearest ramp, wheelchair ramp. So that's another concern. Some cities do impose minimum requirements on these types of facilities, safety standards and staffing levels, and a few more things that I'd like to potentially look at. So I would make a motion to table this.
The motion to table or your motion to table? There's a motion to table by Councilman Hersberg, supported by Councilman Landau.
No discussion.
There's no discussion on a motion to table. Roll call, please. There is no discussion on a motion to table.
Councilwoman Green. Yes. Councilman Hammonds. Yes. Councilman Hart. Yes. Councilman Hersberg. Yes. Councilman Johnson. Yes. Councilman Londo. Yes. President Godbout.
Yes.
It has been tabled. New business.
So, just so you're aware, it's been tabled for right now. It'll come back up at a subsequent meeting, probably the next. Yeah. Mr. Ayub will call you tomorrow and discuss it with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
New business item 8, approval of special land use and site plan for proposed telecommunications facility, 34033 Palmer Road, south of Palmer between Wildwood and Vinoy. Vertical Ridge Development LLC, with the condition that the proposed wooden screening fence be replaced with a vinyl screen fence. This is Planning Department number 1606B.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Landau. Is there support? Support by Councilman Hersberg. Mr. Ayub?
Thank you, Council President. The subject property here is located on the south side of Palmer, between Vinoy and Wildwood. The property comprises of about 7 acres and is zoned R5 single-family residential, and it is developed with the Full Gospel Temple Church. The petitioner today is proposing to locate a 125-foot high galvanized monopole and telecommunications equipment platform on an approximately, well, not approximately, but a 40 by 40 foot lease space within the existing grass planted area just south of the parking lot here where this red dot is located. On the inside of the facility, the 40 by 40 lease space will be the monopole and a couple platforms for some equipment. And that will be screened by a 6-foot tall fence around the exterior with a gate. And on the outside of the fence will be located 5-foot tall arborvitaes wrapped around the perimeter of that fence and with a cutout for the gate. The site currently contains 2 existing driveways for the church located off Palmer Road. And a 20-foot wide access easement will be provided for servicing to get to the telecommunications facility. Off-street parking and access for the church and this facility are adequate. And once the facility is constructed, it will be operational 24/7 and unmanned. Only when maintenance is needed will someone come to the facility. Property surrounding the site is utilized for residential, institutional, and also commercial. Telecommunications devices, including towers, antennas, that are proposed in any zoning districts outside of the industrial zoning districts requires special land use approval. And that is why the petitioner is making the request for special land use approval today. The petitioner is also requesting tonight to reduce the required tower setback and separation distance requirements to separate requirements. Number 1, the separation requirement. The tower will be located 220 feet from the nearest residential lot line to the south. 60 feet from the nearest residential lot line to the northeast, and 40 feet from the nearest residential lot line here to the east, directly adjacent to it. Therefore, the location does not comply with the minimum separation requirement of 375 feet. The separation, just to be clear, requirement applies only for nearby residential properties and is measured from the base of the tower to the property line, nearest residential property line. The second one is the setback requirement. The location does not meet the property line setback requirement of 94 feet from any adjoining lot line. And those two are referenced earlier, the 60 feet to the north and the 40 feet to the east. Measured to any nearby property. The City Council may reduce both the setback and separation requirements as proposed if it determines that the separation and setbacks are adequate relative to the proposed screening location and the surrounding uses. Due to the 375-foot requirement, property owners within 375 feet were noticed. This is a deviation from the normal 300 noticing requirement, so just added that on since it requires the 300-foot separation. There are no towers in this immediate area of the subject site. The closest tower that was identified is about a mile away near the corner of South Wayne and Avondale. The petitioner has indicated a tower is needed in this area to improve coverage and to prepare for the rollout of the 5G network. At the Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission made a recommendation to modify the proposed wooden fence into and turn it into a vinyl fence, just a change in the material. Both the Planning Commission that held a public hearing and the administration are recommending approval of the proposed site plan as proposed with those distance waivers, with the condition that the proposed wooden fence is replaced with a vinyl fence. This is a close-up of the site plan showing that fence with arborvitaes wrapped around the fence. Just a quick elevation view of the tower. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present?
Good evening, Council President, Council members. Anthony Amin and Associates LLC, 200 East Big Beaver Road, Troy, Michigan, 48083, appearing this evening on behalf of Vertical Bridge and T-Mobile. As Mr. Ayub pointed out, we spent, or I should say, give some background, spent probably 6 months or so trying to find the ideal location for this tower. I started working with Mr. Bruce Thompson. Then I moved to Greg Elliott. Now I'm dealing with Mr. Ayub. If you look at Mr. Ayub, if you wouldn't mind going to the site plan, we shifted the tower to the east because of the natural vegetation. If you look at where the compound is going, you'll look at all the trees to the east, to the south, et cetera, plus the fact that we're placing 36 5-foot arborvitaes all around the compound. It's not, there's never a perfect location, but you do what you can using the natural habitat, vegetation as much as you can. That is why our original plan was not to need as many variances or as distance to shift it to the west, but again, with discussions with your administration, it was decided move it to the east and use the natural large trees to help camouflage the tower. I think the presentation that Mr. Abe is correct. Is a 125-foot monopole. One of the reasons for the height is because of the trees to the east. The original plan was not to build a tower that high, but in order to get above the trees and have the tower be effective for T-Mobile and for other co-locators, again, as Mr. Abe stated, the closest tower is about 1 mile away. Your separation distance between tower requirements, 1,500 feet, so we well exceed that. Also this evening, I have the landlord, Pastor Enerson, for the church. If you have any questions with regards to the landlord relationship, I won't speak for him, but I know he's enthusiastic about using the money to provide services for the residents of Westland and the other folks who use his establishment. I'm here to answer any questions, give you any further background on this site and this petition.
Is there any discussion from the council? Councilman Londa?
Thank you. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thank you for the pastor for coming on as well. Mo Ayub said that the notices went out to 375 feet. Did you guys receive any feedback, any negative feedback from any of the residents in that general area, whether it be at the planning commission or to the developer or to the planning department?
Planning Commission had a hearing. We received a unanimous 6-0 decision. There were no residents in opposition.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion from the council? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
New business item 9, approval of proposed rezoning from CB2 to CB3 zoning classification, 6503 North Wayne Road, Hunter Retail Center LLC, west side of Wayne between Warren and Hunter, and further directs the city to draft the necessary zoning ordinance amendment. This is Planning Department number 1559J.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Landau. Is there support? Support by Councilman Hersberg. Mr. Ayub?
Thank you, Council President. The property here is, that is proposed to be rezoned is located at the northwest corner of Wayne and Hunter. The overall site contains of about 11 acres and is developed with the Westland Plaza Shopping Center. Currently, the subject property is zoned CB2 and again is developed with the shopping center, 2 buildings here, approximately 92,000 square feet of retail. The petitioner today is proposing to rezone the property outlined in yellow from CB2 to CB3 General Commercial District in order to increase the number of permitted commercial land uses and options and make the plaza more marketable. This property the subject property that we're talking about is outlined in red. Property to the north is zoned garden apartment and is developed with Waynewood's apartments. To the south, there is both CB3 and R5 zoned property The CVS is CB3 there on the corner, and single-family homes in this location here. Property fronting Wayne is CB3, CVS right here. To the west is property zoned town house residence, THR, and is developed with the Ridgewood Apartments. To the east is MJR Theater, CB3, and some CB1 retail space here and a vacant parcel here, providing access to, I believe, MJR and that retail plaza. Some additional information: the retail plaza was recently renovated and is currently suited for occupancy with a variety of commercial uses, both in the CB2 and could accommodate most of the uses in the CB3 zoning district as well. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this, and both the Planning Commission and administration are recommending approval to you. Thank you.
Thanks. See petitioner present.
How you doing, Council? My name is Ryan Katu. I'm with Keystone Commercial Real Estate, the property manager for Hunter Retail Center. My address is, excuse me, my address is, oh my gosh. My address is, I just lost my address. It'll come back to me when I get it. I promise you I'll tell you what it is. But the reason why we're asking for this petition is that you might have remembered many years ago there was a tragedy there at the center. We had a fire, and since then we have tried everything we can to revitalize the shopping center and place a ton of money into the shopping center to bring it back to where it is today. I think everyone would agree that it definitely looks a lot different now than it has 5 years ago or so. We are unfortunately located in a very unusual area in Westland. We're sandwiched between Warren Road, which has multiple retail, a lot of national tenants, and Ford Road, which also has the same thing, a lot of tenants in retail, and we're in between. With all the remodeling that we have done and everything that we have done to try to revitalize the center, we are still with a lot of vacancy. We're trying to do everything we can to prime the pump, get the center back to where it should be, and just to prove a prime example, we recently got approached by a prospective tenant that wants to utilize about 4,600 square feet on an end cap space with hardly any visibility for an escape room. This may require CB3. I'm not quite sure. It does. Okay, it does require CB3, which we do not have that zoning. We do not want to be in a position where surrounding properties are, I would consider, have a leg up on with us in regards to allowing certain tenants to come into their center. We need to do everything we can to revitalize that center. So this is what our request is for.
Thanks. Councilman Londa?
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for coming out as well,
Yeah,
and for
thank you.
the big reinvestment into that property. I was
Thank
able
you.
to catch the Planning Commission. I believe there was someone there from CVS that had some concerns relative to this possible rezoning. Have you
Correct.
guys been able to work that agreement out between the two parties?
No, we are still working that out. Our opinion is that we want to work with CVS in good faith. We have not worked that out. I believe the people from CVS are actually here, and I'm sure they'll come up and talk. But the reality is that is a private agreement between us and CVS, and I'm not sure how that would affect a decision on rezoning on something of a private agreement. Whether CVS feels that we violated or not, which we're still in discussion with that, should not affect the decision of the board, in my opinion.
Any other discussion from the council? Councilman Hersberg?
Thanks. To Mo, I just want a little bit more clarification. I know the difference between CB2 and CB3, one of them is the drive-through or not. I'm glad you gave an example of the escape room. I still don't understand the main difference. The building is going to be the same, or are you going to make changes, or if you could just...
We have no plans for completely changing the building or anything like that. I mean, we just want to leave our options open for what may come up.
Okay. Can you give a couple of more examples, Mel?
Sure, so the building will remain the same as the petitioner says. There will be an increase of potential commercial uses that could reoccupy some of the vacant spaces inside this retail space, more intense commercial spaces, and again, we're only talking about commercial uses here. So if Airtime wanted to, for example, move into there, if they could fit in there, they would be able to do so. They would be able to accommodate a theater, for example, a gym, for example. I have reviewed this application for an escape room. It is on hold, pending the result of this rezoning. So that's another example as well. And I believe she wanted to also have some other gaming equipment in there. For another example would be like a bowling alley or something of that nature as well that draws a little bit more people than just a standard restaurant. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. I would just like to speak on behalf of the petitioner and just tell him that we really appreciate the amount of investment that you put into the center and council. I know you know that petitioner came into the ownership of this property after a major fire there, and he really has done a good job of bringing that facility into making it more modern. He's really put a lot of his own money into it, and I appreciate the fact that you haven't walked away from this property, because I know you've had difficulties just because of the location and the fact that he doesn't own that CVS out there. If he did, it would give him more revenue to put back into the facility. But when you go by it, you have really done a nice job. I know the council's worked with you in the past to create a commercial rehabilitation district there to help you do that. But I just want you to know that I think you've done a really good job. I think we're proud of the way that the facility looks, and I know that you've recently brought in some more folks to help you try to fill some vacancies. But council, if you go by there and you take a look at what he's done and you look in the windows, everything he's done has been first class. So thank you for your investment in our community.
Thank you very much, really appreciate it. And I also want to add that my address is 31,000 Northwestern Highway, Suite 200, Farmington Hills, 48334. I knew I'd get it.
Any further discussion from the council? Any further discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Business item 10, approval of proposed land division, Linville Street, parcel number 04899001500, south of Marquette, north of Cherry Hill, between Wayne Road and Newburgh Road, on the west side of Linville. And further, directs the city attorney to draft the necessary land division resolution. This is Planning Department number 2227.
Motion by Councilman Hersberg. Is there support? Support by Councilman Hart. Mr. Ayu?
Thanks, Council President. The subject site here is located in a single-family residential neighborhood just south of John Glenn High School. This is the parking area, portion of the parking area right here. This location is between Wayne and Newburgh, north of Cherry Hill and south of Marquette. The site comprises, that's outlined in yellow, of about 34,000 square feet. Again, is zoned R5, single-family residential, currently vacant, grass planted. Petitioner proposes to split the property into two equal parts. Existing conditions 123 by 270 into two equal parts, again 61.5 feet of frontage along Linville. The proposed parcels, as shown on your screen, do comply with the minimum lot width and lot size requirements in the R5 zoning district. And if this is approved, the petitioner does plan on constructing two single-family dwellings on each of the individual parcels. The Planning Commission and administration both recommend approval of the proposed land division to the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present?
Hi, my name is Aracela Karkari. This is my dad, Imat. He doesn't speak English, so I'm translating for him. So he does have a lot. He wants to split it into two equal parts. He wants to build a house, hopefully soon, and then later on build another one. Yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions.
Is there any discussion from the council? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
New business item 11, approval of voucher.
Motion by Councilman Landau, supported by Councilman Hart. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. We'll move on to citizens' comments or requests. Citizens will be recognized at the end of the meeting immediately following the agenda item approval of vouchers. Citizens are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. All citizens wishing to speak will be heard. Is there anyone on my left? Yes. Ruth?
Good evening, everyone. Ruth Dale. Good news, there's going to be no toilet talk tonight. Thought you would like that. I just wanted to point out that there was glad to see that there was coverage given to the historical park on This Week in Westland on WLND. And thanks to Councilman Hart, who spoke about the historical park. He really gave a lot of coverage, saying that we're open 1 to 4 Saturdays, and we're Wayne Road north of Cherry Hill. And what else? Oh, he commented, did point out about the Eloise Museum, and also that the Historical Society could use help. Thank you for that. Thank you. And I was wondering who comes up with the subjects on This Week in Westland, and do you write your own script? Anybody?
No, they're scripted from the cable department. And, so you could thank Craig for
Thank you, Craig. Okay. And a week ago, Councilman Hersberg and State Rep Coleman stopped in at the historical park to purchase manhole cover t-shirts. And hopefully they wore them all week to work. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Is there anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name's Tom. I've lived in Westland 30 plus years after getting off active duty from the Marine Corps. In the mail, we received this flyer for one of your prospective city council members, Tim Gilbert. I have, Mr. Gilbert is wearing Marine Corps uniform in here. By Armed Forces rules and regulations, unless he has permission to wear that, he shouldn't be wearing it. What they say, Marine uniform should not be worn during political activities or commercial interests which may suggest endorsements. This also applies to any public speaking, rallies, etc., unless specifically authorized by military authorities. I don't know if he has that permission or not. The uniform that he's wearing, to put it in Marine Corps words, is unsat. It's ill-fitting. The decorations that he has on there are improper. He is wearing ribbons on the right side, right breast pocket, and his shooting badge. On his left breast pocket, he has his military medals. They're not centered properly or in the right order. I've posed this picture to a few of the different groups that I'm a member of, and I have probably close to 200 people that have responded, all of them being negative. They want to know a lot of questions about this. Go without saying that the Marine uniform should not be worn where it would discredit or dishonor anyone in the armed forces, specifically the Marine Corps. Any other situation prohibited by Marine Corps regulations. I don't know if he got permission for this. I would really like to know. I spent over 9 years active duty in the Marine Corps. I do have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. To Mr. Gilbert, Corporal Gilbert he is seen in his uniform. I don't know where he got the uniform, but I looked at some of his other pictures where he's shown in his uniform. That's not his uniform. He got it from somebody. Ill-fitted. You can almost fit your hand inside the neck. We don't wear our dress blue uniform like that. It is uptight and close, no room. He should know better. He should also know what he's wearing on the uniform. He should know that you do not wear ribbons and badges, medals, specifically like that. They're duplicates. He has one medal on there that he shouldn't be wearing. It's the Navy Good Conduct Medal. He should be wearing the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal. And he's disgracing the uniform. He's disgracing the Marine Corps. And no honor to the Marine Corps, no honor to the position he is seeking, if that's how he's representing. And I'm sorry if I went over time. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? Alex?
I would prefer to wait until the mayor came back in here because I would very much want him to hear what I have to say, but I won't tie up the meeting. I'll be brief. My wife and I have been proud residents of the city of Westland for 11 years. And during those 11 years, we have lived in 2 separate locations. One location for 8 years and the other one for 3. A month ago, at Fountain Park Apartments, maintenance came to repair a leak behind the wall in one of 2 full bathrooms in our apartment home. They happened to catch me right out of bed, because I was up until 4 o'clock the night before, and I was in my gym shorts. Unbeknownst to me, 2 maintenance men were made uncomfortable by my gym shorts. These are 2 grown adult men, and came back to tell the manager of the complex that they were made uncomfortable, and as a result, we have been asked, bear in mind, we are perfect tenants, absolutely perfect. We've been asked to leave the property. We have since found, yes. We've been told they can ask us to leave for any reason or no reason at all. For those who know me, they know I'm very political and have a voice that resonates far beyond the limits of Westland. My wife and I love this community, have been here for 11 years, as I stated, and don't want to leave it. But this behavior seems to, I don't know, Westland seems to be the epicenter for this kind of behavior by property owners. It really does. And I can only hope that something in the short term can be done about this, because this is just too much. So, with that said, I may or may not have, I have not secured a new place yet. We may or may not remain in Westland. If we have to leave Westland, so be it. I don't want to leave. I don't. I want to stay here because I like where I am. I don't like the complex where I am, but I like this city a lot. So, for those of you on the city council, I hope you can let this percolate a little bit, and I hope you can perhaps address some of this behavior by these reckless and irresponsible property owners in the city of Westland. I really do, because this has gone too far. And Richard, I think you have some idea of another situation that I've been a party to some years back. This is not the first, okay? So I thank you for the time, and I hope that this body will address some parts of my remarks here this evening. Thanks.
One on my right, and one on my left.
Hello. All right, the main reason I'm here, I wanted clarification as far as the opioid clinic. Mr. Ayub, I'm glad you're here. You and I had spoken, I believe it was a week or two ago. I had asked you the question, what kind of facility is this going to be? Is it going to be Suboxone or is it going to be methadone? You told me Suboxone. I asked the same question to the woman who was here, the representative, whoever she is. She said neither. Which is it?
I don't remember our conversation, but whatever the doctor that is writing the operational manuals for that clinic said to you would be the correct answer.
Okay,
and
so
if you'd like me to, I can reach out to her and confirm.
Well, yeah, like I said, I was going by what you told me then, and just, it clashed. Okay, well, that's fine. The second thing I wanted to speak about, which might be one of the reasons why the former building director was fired, and I was hoping to ask Mr. Wild this, but he's not here anymore. But there is rumor that one of the reasons he was fired was because he was refusing to give these apartment complexes C of O's or rental certificates without inspections, which would go on what this young man said earlier today. Because I know as a rental property owner, it's supposed to be every 3 years in Westland. Your C of O's every 3 years. But the rumor, and there's a lot of apartment complexes in Michigan, is that all these apartment owners, or most of them, are getting by with this. Without the inspections, they're just getting these C of O's, they're getting these rental certificates. And that's not fair to us. And as you heard, it's a problem. And this isn't the first time that the apartment complexes had something like that. But, so I don't know if you guys need to audit or investigate like what's going on. Because I can do FOIA all day. And I know I'm not gonna see the forms as far as certificate of occupancy. I can go on bsaonline.com, and there is no certificate of occupancies. I know that for a fact. It's just my biggest thing, because like I said, I'm a rental property owner. I am being held to a higher standard than a lot of these other property owners, rental property owners. And it's not fair. I mean, Mr. Falson knows, we have a case, or had a case. I mean, it's disappointing. I mean, there needs to be something that's gonna happen about it. None of your building department. But I guess maybe a future meeting, that can be brought up. Because something needs to be done, but like, you need it the same across the board. It's not fair to everyone. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
One on my right, and one on my left. We'll close citizens' comments and move. It wasn't up when I went to the right. Go ahead, Mr. Grant.
Thank you, Council President. Richard Graham from Westland and also with Move Westland Forward. It's a shame Mayor Wild left again before citizen comments. That's at least the second meeting in a row, and he decides to leave early and doesn't care to hear what the residents have to say. Regarding Mr. Gilbert is part of Team Wild. He was endorsed by Mayor Wild and is running mates with Michael Landau and also James Godbout. Regarding the Lenovo computers, excellent for asking that question. I was Googling that. That's a Chinese-based company also. I think there's maybe American-based companies, at least the profits that stay in America, like I think Dell. And $1,000 for a computer is extremely high. I set my limits at my company for about $800 to $850. Solid-state drives, touchscreens. Seems like an expensive price for that volume of purchases. So thank you, Councilwoman Green. A couple of items tonight. First, I attended a drug treatment center meeting last week, and I was shocked at the small conference room that was used for this event. It was jam-packed while the grand ballroom was wide open. Frankly, poor planning. The Wild administration continues to use minimum state guidelines for distances to notify residents has reared its ugly head again. Being open and transparent to the community for special land uses will only help make the situation better and give any business a better chance of success. Leading from behind continues to destroy Westland's economic development. Second, this is regarding the ongoing saga about Council President Godbout's ultra-low hall rental. This was approximately 70% off the published rates, about $1,150 taken from the taxpayers. The Council President indicated he would pay if he was provided with an invoice. Why no invoice? Well, Wild's gone again. Why no invoice, Deputy Mayor Reddy? I did one in 10 minutes and have it here. Remember, this information was provided by Move Westland Forward by someone within City Hall. Again, Mayor Wild, but again, inside City Hall, this information was given to me, or given to us. Councilman Hart indicated months ago now, and in general, he stated there would be no special treatment for council members and this should be made right. Council Pro Tem Hersberg, do you agree with Councilman Hart, and what do you think should happen? Mayor Wild seems confused and out of sorts regarding this matter. Why can't he make it right for the citizens and taxpayers who lost this money? Many of us know who the person was that did the paperwork. The Parks and Rec Director, the past Parks and Rec Director, Brian Harnos, might have approved or set up this special deal. However, Councilman Johnson, 2 meetings ago, said who had the juice, and he did not think it was Mr. Harnos. That really leaves 2 people. Yep, Mayor Wild or Deputy Mayor Reddy. Deputy Mayor Reddy, who was it? Who approved it? Not going to answer? Not allowed to answer?
It's a home violation.
Time's up, Mr. Graham.
That's a home violation if you don't answer it.
Okay, once again, I'll be back. I'll keep asking the questions over and over again. You took money, the money was taken from the taxpayers, over $1,000. Funny, the people making over $100,000 a year won't answer questions.
Councilman Hersberg.
Thanks, I was named, so I'll,
Excuse me?
Did you?
Please sit down,
Yeah, it is over
Mr. Graham.
$200,000 with all your benefits.
Mr. Graham, please sit down.
Anything else you want to say after I sit down?
I'll respond. I was named. We talked about this for quite a few months now. I don't know what council can actually do legally. I will say, you know, I've worked alongside the council president for a few years now, and I really don't think that's in his character to ask for special treatment. So obviously, we know the price was different. We don't know who wrote the bill or what the circumstances were, but I think the administration should do something so that we can put this issue to rest. Thanks.
I'll also respond, trying not to violate the campaign finance laws, but I am not running with anyone. I am running on my own, and that's all I will say about that erroneous statement that was being made. Councilman Landau?
Thank you, President Godbout. I echo those same statements, exactly how he worded it. Thanks.
Is there anyone on my left? Anyone on my right? We'll close citizens' comments and move on to comments from the administration. Deputy Mayor? Anything from the city attorney's office this evening? We'll begin with Councilman Johnson.
Thank you. Just real quickly, I see Lisa's gone. I want to thank her for keeping her word. She promised to come back as she had information on grants that she was able to give for the city. And just to comment on our study session tonight, anybody who wants to discuss our pending ordinance, let me know. We can sit down in groups of 3 and discuss it. May assist the city attorney on further things that maybe need to be changed in the ordinance. Thank you.
Councilman Londa.
Thank you. I want to start off tonight by congratulating the 3 new police officers that were sworn in tonight. I'm going to butcher their names, so I apologize in advance. Peter Bednards, Summer Chufflin, and Cameron Plofkin. Welcome aboard. You're joining a great team here from the Westland Police Department who has a rich history and professionalism and respect. If I can ever help out with any of you guys, please reach out to me. And obviously stay safe out there. Also want to congratulate the ARC Detroit and the Westland Police Department for putting on a phenomenal basketball game last Saturday. I actually attended. Those young men had a great time. You should have seen this. You think the smiles on their face were big tonight? You should have seen them when they were putting a whipping on the police department. It was a great time. It was at Jefferson Barnes out on the basketball court. So thank you again to everyone who attended that event. I also want to thank the administration for putting together the community meeting for the concerned residents regarding the opioid treatment center. And a big special thank you to Mr. Mo Ayoub from the planning department for managing the flow of the meeting. I know there was some moments of rowdiness, I guess you'd say. People were upset, but I think you kept your composure and stayed professional throughout, so thank you for that. I requested this meeting after talking to a gentleman about a week after the approval, after having a lengthy discussion with him, who said he was speaking for several other residents. So I'm grateful that the mayor was able to put that meeting together and that the developers and doctors are willing to work with the neighborhood and the residents who live nearby to ensure a safe and high-end facility. It was mentioned that he's willing to put together a Citizens Advisory Council, so if there's anybody that lives in that neighborhood that wants to serve on the Citizens Advisory Council regarding the facility, I'd encourage you to reach out to maybe Mo Ayoub from the Planning Department, and he can put you in contact with the developers. After the meeting, I stayed after and spoke with anybody that was willing to speak with me, and I think I was the last one in the building along with President Godbout before everybody left. Something I've always prided myself on is making sure I'm accessible. The last meeting we had here at City Hall, the council meeting I stayed after, about 7 residents talked to me. We were here for about 20 minutes. I'll stay after again tonight if anybody would like to speak with me. And if you're not here tonight and you're watching at home, my phone number is published pretty much everywhere it can possibly be published. It's on WLND when you see the scrolling go by. That's my personal cell phone number. It's on my emails if I email you back. But that number is 734-223-0200. Again, 734-223-0200. I've obviously visited many homes the past few weeks in that neighborhood. I've had some great conversations, and in many cases, residents actually invited me in their home and talked at length about their concerns. I want to mention there will be a Meet the Candidates event for the upcoming election for City Council and City Clerk next Monday at the Village of Westland. That is Monday, September 23rd. It'll be at 7 p.m., and it's located at 32111 Cherry Hill Road. That's just west of Merriman. This event's put together by the League of Women Voters. If you cannot attend, they will be recording it, and they'll post it on their website, which is www.lwnww.org. I know that was a long website. You can simply Google League of Women Voters, Western Wayne County, and you can find all the information about that. Couple things. The farmers market is rearing up for the last few big events. This Thursday, September 19th, is the Fall Festival, a celebration of autumn. You can enjoy the flavors, scents, plants, decorations, and crafts of fall as our vendors feature special seasonal items. They're going to raffle off an autumn floral arrangement donated by My Lady's Forest, business located here in Westland. If you want more information on that, you can visit westlandfarmersmarket.com, or you can call the Westland Chamber of Commerce at 734-326-7222. Lastly, I want to wish our wonderful city clerk over here, Richard LeBlanc, who turns 30 years old in a few days, a happy birthday. And that's it. Thanks.
What are you laughing at, Ray?
Councilwoman Green.
Yes, I'd like to start by also thanking or congratulating our 3 new police officers who were sworn in tonight at 6 o'clock. Looking forward to working with you, and welcome to the city of Westland. Also, I will be, just as a reminder, I'm going to be having my annual Westland Community Health Summit. It will be here on Saturday, November the 16th. As it was last year, we'll be bringing together health systems, a variety of doctors going to try and bring in optical and dental this year, all for free. We will be offering a free lunch as well. So again, Saturday, November 16th from 11 to 3 p.m. You'll find more information about that on Facebook, on my Councilwoman Tasha Green Facebook page. If you have any questions, you can reach me at 734-828-7010. Also, through the chair to Mo, Mo is gone, I'll send him an email. The gentleman who mentioned the pending eviction or termination of your lease agreement, I'd like to speak with you after the meeting. I have an extensive background in property management, and I was wondering if, I'll talk to you after the meeting because there are certain legal requirements or what the law states. If your lease expires and the landlord does not give you a reason, they can legally do that in the state of Michigan as long as they don't give you a reason. They can just say your lease is expired and we want to take possession of our property once again. But if you're stating that they've told you that it was due to the maintenance being uncomfortable, I'd like to learn more about that information and work with you to get justice on your behalf. So I'll speak with you after the meeting. Thank you. And finally, in light of the community concern that occurred with the opioid treatment center, I would like to make sure the residents are made aware, because the law requires that the city of Westland only provide notification based on a certain amount of distance, which may not be far enough to notify the entire surrounding community. And so as it relates to the marijuana discussions that we've been having, I think we had study session number 8 tonight, and we're scheduled to have another one on Monday, September the 30th, and then we will take our mandatory vote next month in October. I would like to make sure the residents know, and I will be posting more information about this on my Facebook page. The city of Westland is now proposing for discussion that we allow marijuana facilities in our city with a distance of 250 feet from residential homes, from the building, the distance from the building to the property line. Now, none of us want a marijuana facility 250 feet from our home, and there has been requests to kind of keep the area around City Hall and the shopping mall off limits. But that does not mean that your home will be off limits if there is a commercial building that is vacant or occupied and wants to transition, and they can get through all of the application processes and they are pre-approved. If they meet all the approval criteria, if that building is 250 feet from a house, your home, it could be approved. To date, I am, I believe, the only city council person who was adamantly against any marijuana facilities being set up anywhere in a residential community. As I stated before, we don't want it next to our homes. We should not put it next to your homes. I am proposing that if we do allow it, and again, I am pro-marijuana, I voted in favor of marijuana, and I am aware of the the benefits to that. But I do not believe that we should allow business owners into our city to make multi-millions of dollars and set it up 250 feet from somebody's home without making them aware. So I ask, if you are in objection to that, don't wait until we vote. It will be too late. Once we vote, it's a done deal. So I would encourage you to come to these council meetings and start voicing your opinion before we vote, because we are your 7 representatives and we are supposed to stand up for your interests based on what will benefit the mass majority of our community. I do not believe marijuana facilities 250 feet from anybody's home, whether there's kids there, seniors there, or whomever. It should not be in residential communities, in my opinion, and there are other cities who have completely made that off limits. However, Westland is seriously leaning in that direction. So please be advised, this is advance notice. We will vote next month. Once the vote is done, it's a done deal. Get involved, show up, let us know what you would like us to do on your behalf. Thank you.
Councilman Hammonds. Councilman Hart.
Thank you, Council President. I'll be brief. Again, I want to thank all the police and the community police department for what they did with the basketball game. That was fun. I couldn't make it, but those guys were really happy and energetic. A good positive start to the morning after the kids, and then that puts you in a good mood for the rest of the day. So thank them again on my behalf, Chief. Also welcome to our 3 new officers. I don't want to mess their names up. Officer Bednars, Officer Plofchin, and Officer Chalfin. And if I got it wrong, I apologize. It gets a little difficult at times. So welcome to Westland, and thank you everybody for coming out. The only thing I've got is, yes, the Lions are currently undefeated, so that's good news. However, people might look at that and Michigan still go blue, so have a good football weekend. Goodbye.
Councilman Hersberg.
Thanks. Yeah, just real quick, I just wanted to thank Mo Ayub from the Planning Department for basically emceeing the entire opioid center town hall. He took a lot of the flack from the residents and was kind of the center of attention, and people were booing, and he's still pretty new to the city as planning. He didn't decide to do the meeting in that room. He had nothing, so I just want to thank Mo for taking the heat and running that town hall, and that's it.
Thanks. I'd just like to thank Avery Kolb and Kevin Williams, Jr., for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, the 2 students from Edison Elementary. And that's all I have this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?